Welcome, everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo. Appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button for me. And we're trying to grow this channel to 500 subscribers by the end of the season. We'll see if we get there or not. Anyway, appreciate it if you could. So, in this video, we're covering the Indiana Fever, who are definitely on a winning streak. This was 5 in a row for them. So good job, Indiana Fever. And Seattle, boy, Seattle is so up and down. You know, they have a really good team, but they go in these shooting slumps that, you know, when they're not in those shooting slumps, they play really well. But boy, they've had a couple of games where they've shot like 28%. And, you know, this game they shot okay. They didn't shoot good from three, but otherwise they shot okay. When you look at the shooting percentages, they shot 44% and Indiana shot 47%. They both shot bad from three. Seattle was 2 for 15, 13%, and Indiana was 4 for 22. And the funny thing about the threes for Indiana, the only one that made one was all four for Sophie Cunningham. But that ultimately came down to the difference in the game. You know, Indiana, it was close for most of the first half. And then Indiana started to pull away, like in the middle to the end of the first half. And you can see that in the scoring. First quarter it was 17-16, and then Indiana scored 25 to Seattle's 18. In the second quarter, but most of that was in the second half of the second quarter. So they started to build a lead, and then Seattle in the third came back and outscored them 20-16, but then that was all they could do. The Indiana had built the lead all the way up to 13 points, but then Seattle surged and they got it all the way down to, it was 2 points. In the last minute of the game, they got it all the way down to 2 points. And then it was anyone's game. And Seattle had some chances and they couldn't capitalize. And then Indiana got a key shot, and that's what won them this game. So they get the win 78-74 over the Storm. And they have now moved up a spot in the rankings. They have taken over the fifth spot from Seattle. And their record is now 17-12, and Seattle falls to 16-13. Points in the paint were pretty even. Indiana had, 6 more, 52-46. Fast break points were even. Second chance points were even. Turnovers were even. And points off turnovers were within a few points. So there was no remarkable difference in anything. Kelsey Mitchell was really off in her three. She was 0 for 8. Excuse me. And her shooting was just not, she didn't have it this game. But you know what? She's been playing so well, you got to give her one, you know. But fortunately for Kelsey, her teammates picked her up. Natasha Howard had another really good game. The thing I noticed about Natasha Howard in this game was she was making really timely cuts through the key, and her teammates were hitting her. Mostly it was Ari McDonald. She hit her on the cut, and then Boston hit her a couple times, I think. But it was like time, and then boom, right through, and it was open for a layup. And she ended up with 21 points. So nice, very nice game for Howard. And she also had 5 assists. Kelsey Mitchell had 5 assists, so Kelsey probably hit her on a couple of those. Howard also contributed with 5 rebounds, and she was 10 for 12 from the floor. That was, Seattle has people to be able to guard her, and they just couldn't. They just, I would think Nneka, if I'm not mistaken, Nneka was on her. You put Maglagor or you put Dominique Malonga on Boston, and Howard would cover, Nneka would cover Howard. But half the time, when Howard was cutting, it was on a pick and roll, and she was getting wide open on those cuts. And then Boston, another good game for Boston. 16 points, 12 rebounds, and she had 2 assists. She had 3 turnovers, but 3 steals. She was 7 for 11 for the game. Very nice game for her. And then Sophie Cunningham was 80%. She was 4 for 5 from 3, and that she was 5 for 6 overall, and then 3 for 4 at the foul line. So that was 17 points for her. So very nice game. 2 assists and 5 rebounds. And Ari McDonald, she only scored 9 points, but she was really key in this game. She was hustling, and her passes and control of the game was very evident. She ended up with 9 points, 9 assists. She had 4 turnovers, but that comes with that position. If you take chances, you're going to have turnovers. I mean, the same thing happens to Caitlin Clark or anybody that pushes the ball. She had 2 steals and 4 rebounds. So she shot 4 for 10 overall, but she was 0 for 5 from 3. Just like the rest of the team, everybody was 0 for, except for Sophie. So, and then the only other person that scored was Dantas. She had 6 points. She just 3 regular shots for 42%. Lexi Hell attempted 2 3-point shots, but they didn't go in. She had 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and that was pretty much it. She's just defensive. At this point, she's more of just a defensive hustler all over the floor. Her 3 is definitely not falling lately. But, we still have a month left of the season, and we'll see what happens there. So, let's see. Rebounds. Fever had 32. The Storm had 33. This was a very even game. Other than that push that Indiana got that got them the 13-point lead, it was a very even game, back and forth. So Seattle had 4 players in double figures and 2 people that were just outside that. Ezzie had 8 points, and Erica Wheeler had 9 points. And then you had Gabby Williams with 12. You had Nneka with 16. You had Skylar with 13. And Dominique Malonga with 12. And they all shot great. Other than Nneka. Nneka carried them in the last game that went to double overtime. But, this game she didn't hit as many shots. She was 7 for 20, which is 35%. But all of her teammates were 60% for Malonga, 44 for Skylar, 40 for Erica Wheeler. Ezzie was 60%, and Gabby Williams was 55%. But Seattle, they didn't take a whole lot of threes. They only took 15. But the only ones to hit a 3-point shot were Nneka and Erica Wheeler. So they only hit 2. So this game was a game of nobody's making their 3-point shots except Sophie Cunningham. But, it got really exciting there at the end, and the Fever come away with the win. Boy, Seattle's losing some close games. They got to figure that out. I don't know. They got to figure it out. But the Fever get the win, 78-74. Very nice game to watch. Very enjoyable. So that's pretty much all I have for this one. And we'll see you next time.